hauling freight across the state line. Watching RG Barge's logo start to shine.
G'day RG Barge crew, hope you're having a fantastic day today and your family's happy and healthy. Okay, we're going to take a look at the new truck garages in ATS 1.5 beta update. And before we do that, just get a few things out of the way. Number one, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It's free and I really would appreciate it. It helps me out tremendously. Also, if you've got any questions, you can ask them in the comments below, or you can pop over to my Discord. There's a link to that in the description. In fact, if you read the description in full, please read the description in full, because it has all the links to anything that you might need. If there isn't something in there that you need an answer to, then ask a question, not a problem, and I'll help you out as best I can. So let's get into this and take it away. Or towards the end of the video, I will answer some questions from my previous 1.58 beta update video about widgets. There's been a couple of questions that I'll answer there, and hopefully that will help you guys out that have asked those questions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over here and read verbatim what SCS has said about these garages, because they explain it better than I can. And I'm going to give you the rundown on these garages. I'm going to give you the pros and cons, and there's definitely quite a few pros, but there's a couple of cons that really annoy me about these garages. But anyway, we'll get into that. Okay, so reading from their blog post. Over the years, garages have become an essential part of building your trucking empire. They're not just a place to store your trucks and hire drivers, but also a space to represent and progress and your progress and success on the road. That's why our teams decided it was time to give them a well-deserved refresh. As part of the 1.58 update, I'm going to have to slow down, I'm talking too quick. Our designers have reworked the garages, bringing a fresh new look that better reflects the quality and level of detail you've come to expect from American Truck Simulator. From updated interiors to improved visuals and atmosphere, these changes are designed to make your garages feel more modern, immersive, and enjoyable to spend time in. Our teams carried out a full visual rework of all three garages. The main goal was to refresh spaces that have become severely outdated and bring them up to date. They approached this rework with considerable ambition and genuine care. Their goal wasn't just to update old models, but to turn the garages into a place players actually enjoy returning to, a space that feels rewarding to upgrade, explore, and appreciate down to the smallest details. And then they just say you can read about it on their blog. So that's what they say about it. So I agree with them that they are definitely an update, and they really do look refreshed, and they do look nice and modern. Okay, so that totally agree with that. And what I'm going to do here in Baton Rouge, I'm about to buy this garage. Now they mentioned that they updated all three of the garages, and that includes the tiny, the small, and the large. I don't have the tiny because I would have to start the profile all over again. So rather than do that, I'm just going to show you the small and large in this situation. And not many people stay in the tiny for too long anyway, so it's not a real big deal. Some people do stay in their smaller garages quite a bit of time and then move on to larger ones once they've earned enough money in their company. All right, so let's take a look at this one. So what we'll do is we'll drive up. Let me just get the truck started. Into gear. Drive on up. And then we'll purchase it and let you have a look at it. Do I really want to buy this garage? Yes, I do. All right, now as you can see with this flyby, there's tons of room around the garage now. Instead of there being tight spaces where if you were picking up trailers from your small garage, you sometimes might have damage done to your trailer. because it's too small, meaning the garage space was too small at the rear, and it would hit some of the objects at the rear. And I think they've done that. What they've done here, let me fly around and show you. Not that quick. As you can see, tons of room on the side. Tons of room at the back. Whereas you had like an awning and garbage everywhere, and it could cause problems with the trailers, especially if you had like a triple low boy or something like that you're picking up from the garage. You could crash into obstacles in the garage itself and then cause damage to your trailer, which meant more money out of your pocket. And inside the garage, let's have a look inside so you can see how modern it is. You've got your your garage manager icon, and you've got some new equipment in here for working on your trucks, and it's all modernized, as you can see. Quite nice. Again, this is the small garage, and they've done a really good job, like I say, on the graphics and the amount of room now that you've got. But there is one thing that really pees me off with these garages, and I'll explain that once we get into the large garage. And one of the things that does pay me off about the small garage is the fact that you don't have any fuel pumps here. There's no fuel pump. Now they've got a tank there for fuel, but there's no pump associated, or no pump trigger anyway. And while I understand it's a small garage, if you owned a small garage, you'd definitely be able to pump fuel for your truck in your garage. But for some reason, they've left it out. And they've left it out for many years out of the small garage. And a lot of people do use just the small garages. And I do believe that there should be a fuel pump here. That's one thing that pees me off. But there is another one that is it stands out like dog's nuts, and they haven't fixed it. And again, for years I've been wanting them to do it. But anyway, we'll go into the large garage, and I'll describe that for you and show you that. And you can judge for yourself what you think. I think, again, graphic-wise, aesthetics-wise, whatever you want to call it, I think they look great because they do look more modern. They do look cleaner. They do look, like I say, up to date. But what we're going to do, I'll jump out of here. We'll go to Garage Manager. And where were we? Let's go City. We were in Baton Rouge, so it'll be under B. Better go up here somewhere. Baton Rouge, there it is. So we'll upgrade that to large, and you can see, I'll do a flyby for us, and you'll be able to see what it's like from the outside. And then I'll take you inside. Okay, so this is the large garage, and as you can see here, you've got a modern two-story office complex on the side. You've got a fuel pump, so you can actually fuel up. And you've got, again, tons of room at the back. So if you're picking up a trailer, there's no chance of it colliding with anything. And away you go. All right, so let's jump back in here and have a look at that from outside. And let me fly out of here and give you a good look. Okay, so yes, as you can see, plenty of room outside, and you've even got an electrical power station here for electric vehicles, which I'm guessing at a later date they'll probably put a trigger for that here, so that your electric vehicles can charge up here. And again, like I say, tons of room at the back, which is a bonus. Tons of room out the side with the fuel pump, so you can fuel up. And like I say, no collision for your trailer. You've got plenty of room for your, if you're transporting a trailer here, to land here without hitting any obstacles. Won't cause unnecessary damage. Bonus. Definitely like that. Let's have a look on the interior. Now, inside here, you've got all this modern service equipment. Fantastic service equipment. Some hydraulic jacks or lifts a work pit so they can get under the truck and work on the truck. You've got a hydraulic lift here. It's going a bit too quick. Let's do that. There we go. You've got an engine lift jack there. So you've got all the service equipment. You've got another electronic jack here, or lift for smaller vehicles. So you've got all this service equipment, but guess what you haven't got? You haven't got a service trigger. And for years I've been waiting for them to do it. I thought they'd do it in this situation where they would. That's the thing that I really don't like. Why they don't have a service trigger in your local garage, I have no idea. Why would you have all this service equipment in your garage and not use it? It doesn't. It's not logical. All this is going to waste in the garage. If you were trying to keep it real, you would have a service switch. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know of any other way, apart from a service trigger, to do anything in here as far as servicing your truck. And I don't see any service trigger. Hopefully, they add a service trigger to these garages before they release the new update. I really doubt it, because I've been waiting years for it, and it still hasn't happened. So that's the real thing I don't like about the new garages. Again, I like the looks of them. Whoops, going the wrong way. As you can see, they look great. Plenty of room for your trailers, so if you're picking up a trailer here, it won't collide with anything. I'm guessing this will later have a trigger for your electric vehicles, electric trucks or whatever when they bring them in. Looking forward to the future for that. Not the electric trucks, but just the realism. I don't like electric trucks, but that's my personal opinion. Again, where is the service trigger? I just don't understand the logic in it. If you were in real life and you had a garage this size and you were running a fleet, you would have your own in-house mechanics, and you would service your vehicles locally here in your garage. And a lot of people say, oh yeah, but you probably got a service centre just down the road. Yeah, but in real life you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't send it out to be worked on unless it was something that your mechanics couldn't handle. But if it was just something in-house that you could do, you would work on it in-house. So why don't we have a service trigger in-house? Maybe open one of the other bays and put a service trigger in it. Simple as that. That would solve the problem. I know I'm ranting on, but the fact is that for years I've been suggesting it and hoping that they do it. There is actually a mod that you can get service centres in depots and garages. But why would you need a mod if the guys would just put a trigger to service your vehicles? I don't think it would be that hard. I can't see it being hard to put a trigger to service your vehicles. But again, I'm ranting on. Let me know what you think in the comments below if you think that's a good idea to do that. But anyway, yes, also, what do you think about the new garages? I think they look great. Like I say, I'm not taking that away from it. They've done a great job on it as far as giving you more room. Graphically, it looks great. It looks a lot more modern. But there's that one gripe that I've got about it, or two. The one that you don't have a fuel pump in the small garage, and you don't have service triggers in either of them, the small or the large. And again, you'd have it in the small as well. Maybe not so much in the small if you were starting out and you didn't have an in-house mechanic. But definitely in your larger garages, you would definitely have an in-house mechanic. End of story. So hopefully, that explains the new garages for you. Oh, by the way, if you're one of the people that have bought the Ultimate Garage package, just a heads up, once the 1.58 update comes out, because these are new garages, the Ultimate Garage package might not work. It doesn't work in the beta. I've tested it. It still works in the 1.57 version of the game. But if you've got the Ultimate Garage package from me and you're wondering if it works in 1.58, at the moment it doesn't, but I will update it when that comes out. And Jab updates the base of it, the mod itself. And I'll let you know, and I'll give you a link to come and pick up the updated version of the game. They're free again. Any updates are free for life. And if you want to take a look at any of those like the ultimate garage package, you can do so over at my Buy Me a Coffee channel. And links are down in the description, and you can see it on the screen right now. There's a free version of the Ultimate Garage that you can test out in 1.57, see what you think of it. That's got my logos on it, because it's a free version. If you want your own logos on the trucks, trailers, and the garage, there is a paid version for that. Also, like I say, now what I'll do is I'll answer some questions about the previous video I did on 1.58 about the widgets, and hopefully answer some of your questions in an understandable fashion. I've got 3 questions there from people in the previous video that I'll answer, so we'll do that right now. And what I've done here is I've got a job so that I can hopefully answer them to the best of my knowledge. Like I say, this is a beta, and as such it's not necessarily the final product, and with my limited experience with the beta, because it's only just come out, but I've done a lot of fiddling around to try and find the answer to your questions. So what I'll do is I'll read off a few of the questions that I got from that. I'll read off 3 of the questions that I got from the video that I feel are the most important ones, and try to explain them to the best of my ability that I've found. Alright, so the first one is, are you still able to get load info while driving, or does it pause the game now? And that's from Steve. And my answer to that question is sort of. As you can see here at the moment, I've got the widgets up because I'm outside the vehicle, and in the route advisor down in the bottom right hand corner, you can see down the bottom it has the time for the job until I get to the destination, which is 3 hours and 1 minute, 164 miles. But for now, that's the only information on a job that you can get while you're driving along. Although while you're driving along, you can still get the information that you require by pressing F1. This comes up, and that's your quick info, and that tells you all the job details there. But again, it's not fully comprehensive. It's basically showing you that it's an 8-ton scaffolding, Munro LA Page and Price paper to Texarkana AR LMX. 2 hours and 17 minutes remaining. So I'm going to be late. It's because I've been mucking around. But anyway, then it tells you the local regulations and any damage that you've got to your vehicle. And then you've got all the other stuff down the bottom that you can do. But then you can go F1 and away you go. But let me show you while we're driving along, because your question was, will it pause the game while you're driving along? So the answer is basically yes. Let me jump back in the cab, get the truck rolling. And press F1. Yeah, it pauses the game. As you can see, it says pause up there. But I mean, that's okay. I am curious to find out what that would do if you were in convoy mode, like on a dedicated server or whatnot, whether or not that will come up. Because you've got to basically stop the truck to do anything that pauses the game. So that to me is a downside. That's a negative to the widgets, what I can see. And again, I haven't tried it in a dedicated server or in convoy mode because, I just haven't had a chance to do it just yet. But I will do. But again, yes, to answer your question, yes, you've got to pause the game to see that information. But you do get a little bit of information. And again, I'm going to pop outside because I've only got these widgets turned on while I'm outside. You only get that information down the bottom there with the 2 hours, 58 minutes destination time. And that's it. There's nothing else that I can see. And again, please, if anybody else has tried it and they've been able to do it, let me know how, because I can't find a way to do it. Okay? So hopefully that answers your question, Steve. Okay, next one is fantastic video, RG. Now let me ask you this. Can you still cycle through the route nav and mirrors as previously allowed, or is it all only through the widgets now? And that's from Studio David. G'day, David. Okay, yes, you can do it just like you used to. Now, I'm going to quickly turn on my wheel cam. Hopefully it's lined up. And show you that this is my normal button box on my tablet, Sim Dash, and I normally cycle through the windows pressing this button, and as you can see, it's cycles through the mirrors using this button, and as you can see, it works. Also, I normally cycle through the like the navigation zoom with this button, and if you look down in the bottom right, I'm pressing the button like I normally do, and it's cycling through. And it is the widget, but I mean, the widgets are the old stuff, but just in a widget form. Whoops, press the wrong button. Yeah, as you can see, I can cycle through them, turn them on and off as I please. I can also turn off the whole lot of them, but that's because I've reprogrammed one button to do that. So I can turn them all back on. So yes and no, or yes and yes. You can cycle through the whole lot by just turning them on and off, like so. You can cycle through the route advisor zoom functions down here, and you can also cycle through the mirrors, turning them on and off as you please, like so. So yes, you can cycle through them. If that's not what you meant, please let me know, but hopefully that answered your question, David. Okay, and then what do we got left here? Where do you switch it off? So where do you switch it on? You are not showing shit. That's from the dude 100. Thanks for your comment and your kind words. Where do you switch it on? You are not showing shit. Okay, you switch it on by reprogramming one of your buttons to switch it on and off. And at the moment I have this button here, switching it on and off, and that is my route on and off button. So all you've got to do is bind a button to it to turn it off, and that's in your options under keys and buttons. And if we go down here under HUD, here we are, HUD, it is show hide HUD widgets. And as you can see, I've got two buttons programmed for it to come on and off. I've got the F7 and one of my joy buttons, 24, where it will switch it on and off. So that's all you've got to do. You just program it to whatever you want to turn it on and off. So hopefully that answers your question, and now I'm showing you shit. Because you said you are not showing shit. So I thought I'd show you shit. There you go. So yes, you go show hide widgets in the HUD section under keys and buttons, and just program it to whatever you want to bind it to there. And that will turn it on and off for you. And I can show you that again. As you can see, on, off, on, off. And also, if you want to bring the widgets up themselves, like the options for the widgets, you can program a button for that. And I'll show you how to do that, so you can't tell me that I'm showing you nothing. So we go back again, and to do that, you go to your HUD again, and where is it? Quick info? No, it's F6 that I turned. There we are, widget options. So you program your widget options to whatever button you want for it to turn on or off. So it's widget options is F6. That turns the widget adjustments on and off. So I'll show you that again. So I'm pressing F6. Well, it's not F6 because it's actually, I've got a button here called widgets. And that's where you can turn the options on and off and then adjust it the way you want. So hopefully that answered your question and it wasn't shitty. So that's the three main questions I got. And yeah, please subscribe if you haven't done so. It's free. And like I said before, it really does help me out. Also, if you know of anyone that might benefit from this video, please share it with them. And hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, like I say, any questions you've got in the comments or over at the Discord, read the description in full. That'll answer most of the questions. If you can't find it there, ask away. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.